Hello everyone out there on the internet, I'm Jack of all trades, and this doesn't feel right. Give me a second. I'll do this. Slapsy hoops, slapsy hoops, slapsy hoops. That's more like it. Oh. Hello everyone out there on the internet, I'm Jack of all trades. And in today's video, we'll be looking at my top 10 favorite Disney villains. As a brief explanation, this is one of 3 parts. Over on the Dr. Knealetapus and the Lunatics YouTube channel, Neil will be giving his 10 favourite Disney villains. And over on Cher_from2000, Cher's YouTube channel, she will be discussing her 10 favourite Disney villains. There were a few rules, such as no Marvel characters, MCU is banned, and no Star Wars. Those are off the table as we talk about them way too much over on Neil's channel, on the Dr. Knealetapus and the Lunatics Disney Plus Pals podcasts, recordings over there every week. So if you want our thoughts on more Disney content, more Star Wars content, podcast, hours of content over on that channel, go give it a watch. We just finished covering She-Hulk, and I believe Werewolf by Night will be coming out before the end of the month, keeping in the spooky theme. So if you want to check out their videos, those will be linked on screen round about now in one of the corners and at the end of the video, as well as the description down below, possibly the comments. I'll scatter their links all over the place. You can check out their videos if you so wish. However, you are here, you're on my channel, so this is going to be my 10 favorites. There is a bit of live action in here. It's not purely animated. There are a few characters, a few live action villains I wanted to shout out and throw on here. By necessity of the nature of this video, it will contain spoilers. So I'm putting on screen a list of a bunch of different Disney products, films, TV shows, games. Some of them I will spoil in this video, some I won't, just so that I'm not giving away my list by showing you these words. So with that said, here we go. This is a top 10, but I'm going to start with a few honourable mentions. First off, Turbo from Wreck-It Ralph, King Candy. Great fun villain as King Candy throughout it, but we're primed for Turbo way at the start of the movie, and first viewing, you may not necessarily catch it, the whole going turbo thing. But then with his reveal in the race at the end is great. And then him fusing with the monster, the candy bug monsters, and then becoming this sort of big beast. I'm surprised that I never heard rave reviews of a Wreck-It Ralph video game. Because that's a boss arena, right? The top of a volcano with all the mints and everything. And the massive King Candy turbo monster bug thing versus Ralph. That's a boss fight. That is such a boss fight. That whole segment of the film's great at the end there, and the whole I'm bad and that's good. No one I'd rather be than me. Oh, heartwarming for Ralph as the bad guy who's a good guy. You know, but the villain of the film is King Candy. is Turbo. And then his horrific death at the end, where he turns to the light and Turbo wants to not, but the bug and candy side of him is like dragging him into the explosion to die. Oh, great. Next honorable mention is Jadis, the White Witch from the Chronicles of Narnia. I look forward to seeing what Disney Plus is going to do with this property, making a TV show or something out of it. They still have the rights. I'm sure I've heard that they're working on something. But the White Witch from the first Chronicles of Narnia film, I know she shows up as like cameos in the second and third one. I don't remember those movies, specifically The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Tilda Swinton is fantastic in the role. She is terrifying, a good scary villainess for the film, without being overly campy or anything. She's cold and intimidating. It works really well, though. Again, in person, Tilda Swinton is lovely. I've met her a few times. I've poured her a few drinks in my time. She's lovely, but in this film, sort of the scenes that you think of are her pulling up in the sled to Edmund and everything, offering the sweets and lying and tricking him, and C.S. Lewis wasn't too subtle with this, but she's meant to be the devil. That works out great. Her ice castle, when you see all the statues, everyone turned to stone, and when you see Tumnus, great. I don't want to dwell too long on these honorable mentions, but her outfit, When they kill Aslan, you know? And then the final battle when she realizes he's back and Aslan eats her alive, eats her head, bites it off. Yeah, it's a lot, and Tilda Swinton does great on the role. Again, Jadis, the White Witch from Narnia. Brilliant. Next up, Dr. Draken from Kim Possible. Great fun. John DiMaggio does fantastic. Of course he does. When does he ever not? That said, the sort of goofy comedic villain from a Disney TV show, for me, there's someone that does that job better, and they're actually on the list, so wanted to give an honorable mention to the guy who, in my childhood, did it first, but I think there's someone who a few years later would do it a bit better. And my last honorable mention is Cruella de Vil. Not from Cruella, not from the animated 101 Dalmatians, from the live-action 101 Dalmatians. Glenn Close as Cruella de Vil is so scary. To me as a kid, I watched that film a couple of times, and no. I watched the animated one fine, but seeing Cruella de Vil brought to life by Glenn Close was terrifying to me as a child.
I'll be wearing Anita's dogs.
Her laughter, her glee at what she was doing. In the cartoon, she sort of holds herself together more. She seems more sophisticated, until she becomes unhinged at the end, or you know that the monster within comes to the surface. In the live-action film, she again has that demeanor to begin with, but it cracks. There's moments where the facade crumbles away. And her laugh. You know the one I mean. Glenn Close's Cruella de Vil is my definitive Cruella de Vil. That's call that number 11. On with the rest of the list. So, number 10, Judge Doom. Now this is a Disney film. It's released under Touchstone Pictures. But if The Nightmare Before Christmas counts as a Disney film, so does this. Christopher Lloyd is fantastic in this role. He is, until the reveal at the end, there's something off. Just how he moves in so many scenes. And he's this expert tune hunter, almost. Going the classic, you know, shave and a haircut. Knock. Brilliant. Fantastic. And he knows the thing that tunes can't resist. He knows how to get a tune, how to catch them. Because of what's revealed later. He himself being the tune that killed Eddie's brother. And when he killed his brother... It's so good. It's so good. It's so scary. Dip throughout the film with the shoe, you know, all these iconic moments from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And a lot of it revolves around Roger, but then a lot of the scary moments are, you know, there's the weasels, there's his henchmen. But the actual scary moments, they reserve for Judge Doom. At number 9, we have Yzma from The Emperor's New Groove. Yzma is a part of a double act. It is Yzma and Kronk. But Yzma is the villain of the film. Kronk is her henchman, her partner in crime, but Yzma is the antagonist, you know? This film is very comedic. She's not got some master plan to destroy the world or anything like that. She just wants to be empress, is fed up with Cusco's shit. And yeah, Eartha Kitt is doing fantastic. I wish her song had properly been in the film. But alas, just have to go with animatics and fan-made stuff to see that. In the movie itself, though, roll the clip. You know the one.
Pull the lever, Kronk. Wrong lever! Why do we even have that lever?
And then the other clip.
And then I'll put that flea in a box, and then I'll put that box inside of another box, and then I'll mail that box to myself. And when it arrives, I'll smash it with a hammer.
Oh, and the other one?
What I miss?
Well, Yzma just tossed me this knife and asked me to, take them out. And then this guy popped up, and then we waited for you.
Oh, and who could forget?
I win.
There are so many amazing Yzma moments that, like... Oh, what more do I need to say? At number 8, there were a few characters I thought about putting on this list, but ultimately decided not to, because, they have a turnaround, they become one of the good guys, see Tom from Star vs. the Forces of Evil. So, this was teetering on that line, but ultimately I think they fall on the villain side of things, for the sake of their story. Number 8, Long John Silver from Treasure Planet. It is the story of Treasure Island. A story basically everyone knows. No doubt there were a select group of kids who this was their first exposure to the story, but, even for someone going into it, who knows what the story is, who knows what's up, you're warned at the start that, the man with the peg leg. No. You're warned of the cyborg. The sci-fi space settings throughout this film are fantastic. And the translation of the original work to this, I love. But when we meet the cyborg, Long John Silver down in the basement, down in the kitchen, in the hull of the ship, his animation is great. It is unmatched for me. There are shows coming out today with 2D and CGI integration that is so much worse than this. So whenever people say, especially me, someone who covers a lot of anime on this channel, that I don't like CGI. It's like, no. CGI is fine. It can be used fantastically. See entirely CGI shows like Land of the Lustrous. See, Avatar. See these great examples. But CG and 2D often don't meld great, especially when you're not willing to put in the time or don't have the funds to put in the time. A lot of the time it is a budgetary thing. So the example I point to, that, you can use your CG in your 2D show, in your 2D series, in your 2D film, you can mesh the two of them, of course, is Treasure Planet. Long John Silver, this one character, and it feels cohesive. From his hand-drawn body and everything, through to the massive CGI arm with all these cool tools and implements and everything. I love, rotating out segments. The animation on him earns him a spot on this list alone, for me. It's fantastic. But then the character. And of course, again, credit for the character has to go to the original story, but for the sake of the film, his relationship with Jim is done so well here. It's so heartwarming, the surrogate father figure and everything. To then, the moment you realize, if it is your first time watching, oh no, we were right to be initially distrustful of him. Because you go into the ship and it's like, okay, a cyborg, we'll keep an eye on him. And then you come around to him. And then they yank the rug out from under you of, no, he is a pirate. He is the guy we were warned about right at the start. And then you sort of, like Jim, have to wrestle with that. But he was such a nice guy. But this is who he is and what he's doing. The two things don't quite fit together. You have to wrestle with that, as he does himself towards the end of the film. Ultimately, he is the villain of this film. But by the end of it, you like that scoundrel, off he goes. There are more hateable antagonists in the movie, but he is the main villain. He is the primary opposing force. So, Long John Silver, love the character, love the voice, love the animation for him. He's number 8 on my 10 favorite Disney villains. Number 7 from Star vs. the Forces of Evil. Who am I kidding? I said the title. There's only one character it could be. Surprise! Toffee is brilliant. From season 1 to 2 to that little Little bit of the season 3 premiere. Fantastic the entire way through. They then knew he was a popular character, and it's okay, let's do a bit of time travel, sort of meet him and fill in some wee backstory moments and whatnot. But that initial season 1 to the start of season 3 run, brilliant. And so good. In season 1, when he just shows up and talks his way into Ludo's employ. Ludo spent the whole episode looking for someone new to join his team. Just by sitting there and talking, basically expressionlessly, convinces Ludo to hire him. It's like, oh, okay. And then as it goes on, you realize, oh no, Toffee is super capable. He's reading everything that's going on here. He knows what he's doing. And his betrayal of Ludo, getting the rest of the henchmen to question is, oh, who would you rather work for? Me? Or him? Great. And you're still a question mark at that point. You don't quite know what's up. You just know that he's bad news. And then when we get to the finale, it's like, okay, the entire show has been, okay, a little, the high school stuff back on Earth, but the Muni and the monster plot has been to get Star's wand. So with Marco kidnapped, here we go. Star gives up the wand, slides it along the table to Toffee. And his response is just a simple,
I don't want your wand. Destroy it.
And the reveal that no. He wants her to destroy it. This guy who is sort of this enigmatic enigma just gets he's just a massive question mark. He's like, what the fuck?
Surprise!
Why? But his reaction to the wand's destruction is like, oh no. Even though Star thinks it's okay, cool. It's gonna blow up. We'll lose the wand, but we'll deal with this threat. No, he wanted this. This was a part of his plan. And then with season 2, Ludo alone, and Ludo finds a broken piece of the wand and it's in Toffee's hand. That recognizable missing finger is great. And then you find out, oh, Toffee's talking to him through the wand and then possessing him. And Toffee's little interactions with Glossaric towards the end as well. As Toffee comes to power, taking over Ludo, melding the wand to his arm and everything as he starts to come back. And then Star ending up in the realm of magic. What the fuck happened to the realm of magic? What happened to magic? Magic has been on the fritz. It's been on the fritz all season. We've known there's something up. But then when Star gets there, and we see it, and then it moves, and then it talks.
Hello, princess.
It was the magic. Until Toffee got here. It's great. It's terrifying as he leaves Star behind in what was the realm of magic, as he leaves. He's done it. He's taken out magic. He got what he wanted. And he's back. And he straightens up his suit and off he walks. Job done. Mission accomplished. He got what he was after. You can got his finger back. Only to then have Star and the good guys overcome it, dipping down, believing in herself and all that with Star. And her puberty butterfly form and everything. Fantastic. It's great fun. And then blasting Toffee down to the exposed bone and everything. To ultimately being crushed by a pillar by Ludo. Sure. It's fine. Magic is back. Everything is fine. Everything's resolved for the future seasons of the show. But if it weren't for the power within, with Star and Magic and the Butterfly family, Toffee won. He got it. He got what he was after. Job done. He was satisfied and walking away. And he was such a big mystery to get there. And then so terrifying once he was finished. That's it. He's won. I just wish the rest of the show had subsequent villains that could live up to him. Because once Toffee was gone, it started a downward trickle in quality with Starverse and the Forces of Evil. Just that they couldn't reach the same heights again once he left. Which is a shame. But when I think of the show, I don't think of a lot of the Meteora stuff. I think of Toffee. I think a lot of people do. Number 6 on my list. I referred to this before with Dr. Draken, a comedic TV villain that I think fills that role a little better than he did. Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz, the man of a million backstories, all of them somehow presumably true. You can lay them out chronologically. There's a great YouTube video on that. Oh, remember when he lost at poetry to a baking soda volcano? He's great. Dan Povenmire doing the voice for Dr. Doofenshmirtz. Great, 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 great. Phineas and Ferb is a fantastic show. Doofenshmirtz is the antagonist. He's, there's the A plot and B plots, and it changes from episode to episode whether it's the boys or whether it's Perry that's the A or B plot. But my god, Doofenshmirtz is a fantastic villain for this show. His unending battle with the OWCA, organization without a cool acronym, which, he's not like actively against or anything. They just keep sending agents to thwart his plans, which range from to causing the events of Across the Second Dimension. Doofenshmirtz is great. He's so funny. He's become a bit more of a meme through the advent of TikTok, and again, Dan Povenmire over on that. He's so funny. Songs, musical numbers are all over Phineas and Ferb, but when Doofenshmirtz gets them as well, it's so much fun. Doofenshmirtz is just fun. He's a fun, goofy villain. And I think he is great at it. Granted, down the line, with Milo Murphy's Law, he's less of a villain. He's actively on sort of the good guy's side, but there's not really sides in Milo Murphy's Law. It is, again, Milo is much more of a passive protagonist. He sort of sits back and things just happen. And then he's ready for them when they do. But things always, work out in his favor. You do have the pistachions and everything. There are antagonists to Milo Murphy's Law. But, Doofenshmirtz is more of a side character in that show. So, Phineas and Ferb, Doofenshmirtz. Great villain. Number 5, we're actually going into the more traditional Disney villain catalog here. While this video isn't a list of my favorite Disney villain songs, this guy got some pipes on him. Dr. Facilier, the Shadow Man from The Princess and the Frog. Keith David. Enough said. Number 4. Okay, I'm kidding. The Shadow Man's great. He's so much fun. So elastic in the fluidity of a lot of his movements and his dancing during Friends on the Other Side. That great musical number that is up there with some of the greats. Your Be Prepared, your Hellfires. Friends on the Other Side. That's the last traditional 2D animated Disney cinematic feature princess movie. I'm so glad we still got a classic showstopper Disney villain song for that. Keith David, again, the voice for singing and everything, great. But his performance, just in the rest of his scenes, he's so... I want to say that I wish he did more voice acting, but no, whenever he does show up as a voice in something, it is such a delight. Here, as this villain, moments from, when Friends on the Other Side reprise happens, like, the panic and fear and desperation in his voice is great. When he's sort of commanding the room, talking to Charles or anything, that booming intensity of his voice. Keith David. And then his plan to sort of offer up the souls of the people in New Orleans to gain more hoodoo power. In the song, I got voodoo, I got hoodoo, I got things I hadn't even tried.
And I got friends on the other side. He's got friends on.
His animation, fantastic. The smile fade right before Friends on the Other Side. Oh, Disney, please go back to the 2D animation for your movies. Please. I miss it so. His design, his mannerisms, again, similar to, as I said, for Cruella de Vil in the original animated film, carrying himself with that sort of sophistication. But he has so much more energy to him. He can dart about and dance and sing, and his shadow is so much fun as well as it shapeshifts and morphs. Oh, and Ray well, another one of those classic Disney villains with a body count on screen. It's like just the crunch under the heel of his shoe. Oh, oh. So then his fate being literally dragged down to hell. Yeah, that kind of can't be topped. Number 4, Scar from The Lion King. Jeremy Irons. Yeah, there you go. I'm not going to make that joke again and just cut to the next one, but I saw a video recently that sort of sums up my reasoning for Scar being in this position. Again, the voice, the animation, everything, the design, aligned with like a proper black mane and everything's real, a great look, the piercing eyes and everything, fantastic. The song number, Be Prepared. But this video was of a kid, a little girl, watching The Lion King for the first time. And it's the scene, oh, daddy's come to help as he rescues Simba. And then climbs up. And look it up yourself. Find videos of kids reacting to Mufasa's death. Scar gets the credit for that. How many of us were low-key traumatized by Mufasa's death? Scar's the one who killed him. There you are. Oh, and then later at the end, the parallel to the fight with Simba and then the whisper in the ear, I killed Mufasa. He's so good. And his death being torn apart by the hyenas just off screen. Ooh. I don't need to go on and on about Scar. You know why he's here on this list. You know. Number 3. Forget the live-action Scar. Let's have an actual live-action villain that somehow had way better CG. Davy Jones, the captain of the Flying Dutchman from Pirates of the Caribbean 2 and 3, and potentially 6, but I'm not holding my breath on that. Bill Nye does a fantastic job. I've said it for all of these. The voice actors and the physical actors on sets for these villains do so well. I love watching the behind the scenes of Bill Nye going all in on this performance, wearing this crazy mocap outfit and everything with the facial tracking dots. But trusting, okay, that he gives a big enough performance, a great performance, that it will survive through the CGI, through the artists and everything that are fine-tuning and picking everything on his face and everything and translating it to the CGI puppet. He's giving a good enough performance that if the CG looked terrible, if it looked meh, so-so, he's giving it his all. And thankfully the CG is pretty much unparalleled. Look at this shot. Now look at this shot from Black Widow. Hi. Yeah. There's a worrying downward spiral in quality of cinematic CG at the moment. But Davy Jones is untouchable. He is perfect for the CG and everything. See, okay, that shot I showed you was in, it was dim, it was poorly lit, it was at night. So let's have him in broad daylight. Yeah, looks fantastic. Bill Nye, the moment when you actually get his face and you see him, his relationship with Calypso, with Teodama, is such an interesting, and it's great sort of mystical, piratey, seven seas, gods of the ocean, and there's these monsters and the Kraken, all this lore and everything around. Just the Davy Jones story is brilliant. And then the Dutchman itself sort of being this extension. Well, like, he's more part of the ship, part of the crew. The Dutchman must have a captain and all that. Great. But he's got one of my favorite Disney villain songs as well, if I ever do a list. And, it's just his theme, is him playing it on the organ with the face tentacles and everything. Such a well-designed character. Such a well-designed character. You look back at some of those concepts for Davy Jones. And some, they pick and chose some concepts of them for the rest of the crew of the Dutchman. But that finalized design with a massive barnacle-encrusted crab claw and leg, and the tentacle hand, and the fingers on the face and everything, and blowing out the pipe, and such a well-designed character, such a great character in the story, so powerful, so scary. Like, I get Jack looking at him through the telescope, and then puts it down, and he's there. Yeah, him and his crew, no, you're screwed. And then Jack's fear of going into open ocean because of the black spot and the Kraken, which then, and then when Jones, in the third film, is then leashed, sort of brought to heel by the East India Trading Company, who killed the Kraken, his pet and everything, and his reaction to that. It's great. It's great seeing this other dynamic to him. The two best pirate films. Sure, there's the first one. First one is great. But for me, 2 and 3. And how they, for Jones at least, it's like, here he is, the most feared thing on the sea. Here he is, the East India Trading Company's lapdog. Seeing that difference in situation. And then when Jones realizes, hey, fuck this. And the brutal killing of Mercer, I think his name was. Oh my god, that image! Oh! And the final sword fight on the masts and everything of the ship, and Jones being able to... It's the Dutchman, so he moves through it, and everything is brilliant, and the way that Jack fights him, fantastic. I would love to see him back in Pirates 6 if they do it. My worry is that he will look so much worse, that the story will be worse, that it will just be a massive letdown. But promise me that he's going to be in the film. I'm going to buy a ticket. You've got me. I may not like it, but that is where I'm at, because Davy Jones is my third favorite Disney villain, and those second and third films were brilliant and hold such a special place in my heart. The Lego games, he was such an expensive character. I don't think I ever actually bought him. I never saved up enough. He was fantastic, Davy Jones. Davy Jones. Number 2. Like I said before, villains. There's many different types of villains. There's your comedic Doofenshmirtzes, there's your terrifying Davy Joneses, there's your calculating Scars. You know who we haven't had on this list yet? An embodiment of chaos. Bill Cipher. Gravity Falls is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. Avatar: The Last Airbender, Gravity Falls, Attack on Titan. Near untouchable. Perfect shows. Fantastic stories. The mysteries of Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls has been lessened a bit since its airing, because to me, it's one of those things you kind of had to be there to solve the mysteries, to work it out for yourself, theorize about timelines, which you can all still do. You can still do that to this day. But there's such a ready access to the information now. It lessens it a little. But at the time, Gravity Falls, phenomenal. Bill Cipher. In the episode Dreamscaperers, Season 1, Episode 19, when we first meet him, you've been primed for it the entire show. At the end of the theme song, there's that flash of Bill and the Zodiac wheel and everything around him, and all these other codes and everything. But this little triangle with a top hat, what is this character? And all the way through Season 1, he's shown up he's been on playing cards. He's all over the Mystery Shack and throughout the town of Gravity Falls. So when we finally meet him, you get introduced to him, and he does this, you realize, oh no, this could be pretty bad. And then sure enough, at the end of Dreamscaperers, he leaves us with that warning that, oh, a day will come when everything you care about will change, prophesying his future plans, warning them almost. Ooh. And then in Season 2, He shows up in episode 4. He's been gone for 5 episodes. And he's back already. It's like, whoa, okay, yeah, he was right. He's not just gonna show up rarely. He's back already. Poop, what are we gonna do? Alex Hirsch doing the voice, the jokes. Unlike Long John Silver or other villains where I can praise the animation, Bill's just this triangle. It's a shape that just moves around on the screen. Yeah. Nice and simple, easy. So when they want you to know he's serious, they take that dial and they crank it right the way up to the extreme for Bill's animation. Bill is scariest as that little triangle. Sure, towards the end when he's the big multi-tiered monster with all the teeth and limbs and everything. No, Bill is scariest at his base design. I still love the monstrous form and everything at the end, and his transformation is morphing to get a physical form and everything is so weird and gross, and seeing the how he reforms through the top hat and everything. Oh, but that's all once he gets a physical form. That's what he was aiming for. Which he gets, yeah, he gets it at the end. Mission accomplished. And then there's a wee rebellion against him and everything. It works out for the characters. The statue, the cipher hunt. Before I die, it is absolute bucket list to go and see that statue at Confusion Hill. Gravity Falls holds such a special place in my heart. And I'm sure many others as well. So, Bill Cipher is the main antagonist of that show. And it's such an iconic, like, there he is. Got a wee poster in the back there. I love Bill Cipher. He's so good. And then there's the hints at backstory with, in the Curse of the Time Pirate's Treasure, when Dipper asks the axolotl what he knows about Bill. Let me find my wee printout. Saw his own dimension burn, misses home and can't return. Says he's happy, he's a liar. Blame the arson for the fire. We allusions like that, and then in Weird Mageddon we get that image of Bill talking about, oh, imagine that, flat minds in a flat world. I liberated my dimension, Stanford, as we see just flames. There's a lot of allusions to Bill's backstory, but it is kept vague. We don't know. There's the theories of the connection with the Flatland series, which turned out not to be the case. That is an entirely different thing, alluded to in a completely different context and different pages in the Real Life Journal 3, and how everything interacts and everything. But that was teased from a Reddit AMA, so not quite canon. The initial Bill connection with that sort of story and world. I could keep going about Bill, but that's just sort of me praising and ranting versus moving on to, my number one. Is this my favorite Disney villain? I'm not sure. I'm not confident enough to say that. But it is the Disney villain I intend to talk the most about in this video. So, realistically, this person could be elsewhere in the list. They definitely be on the list, just not necessarily at the number one spot. Depends how things pan out in Season 3. But my number one Disney villain for the here and now, and hypothetically, is Emperor Bellows from the Owl House. At the time of recording, Season 3 has not yet come out, so I don't know what's going to happen. But prior to that, Seasons 1 and 2, Bellows has a similar but not identical setup to Bill in Season 1. Where in Gravity Falls, imagery of Bill is everywhere. You can question it, you can notice it, and then when you meet him, it's like, oh, okay, what's going on here? In the Owl House, there's the ever-present threat of the Emperor's Coven, the Emperor Bellows. In episode 1, we go to the Conformatorium. We encounter Warden Wrath and all these Coven scouts and everything, and then we later meet Lilith and Steve. Oh, we love Steve. We meet all these characters who work for the Emperor. But the Emperor still has question. I don't think you even see a drawing of him. No tapestry, no depiction of Bellows. Until after, if not maybe the scene before, but not until after you actually meet Belos. We see him in that throne room with a heart suspended above him, still beating, this blackened green rotting heart that's still beating. It's, oh, is that the Titan's heart? And Belos absorbing, draining, killing Palisman. What is going on? What is this guy with the big beaked mask and the antlers? He is such an enigma. But you know, this is the guy in charge. The Emperor's Coven is the best one, the one that everyone wants to be a part of, and have access to all schools of magic, rather than being restricted to one of the other tracks. So you know he's got to be, you know, he's a big deal, and you see him first in this creepy, off-putting throne room. But then when he encounters Luz in the finale, and you see him move, you see his skill. Ah, this is the threat. This is our big bad, definitively. Okay, and that piercing, glowing blue eye at the end, only for the actual final scenes of the finale to be he's rebuilding the portal. Why does he want the portal? That was a big question. Why did he want the door? To take over the human realm? Was our assumption? Boy, how wrong we were. With Season 2's roll around, and we get Hunter, we get the Golden Guard, and we start getting all these pieces that ultimately fall into place in Hollow Mind. But before that, see, the thing with Belos, and the reason I wanted to talk about him, is any other villain, any other Disney villain, wants to be where he is. You have, you know, your traditional take over the world, you know? He's done it. Here he is. He is the Emperor. He's got it. This is it. He's in charge. And it's not just it's not a mega mind, oh, take over the world, oh, what do I do now? No, he's taken over and he's ruling. Actively. And suppressing. And not killing, petrifying. This is the guy. It's not a war. It's not, oh, we need to stop him from doing this. No. He's done it. He's done. He's taken over. He is in charge. It's not, it is a rebellion. Which they get into later in Season 2. This is the status quo. And the people of the Isles, when they're told, oh, to not associate with Ida or wild magic, and characters are gradually are forced to join the Coven system, it's because that's the best thing to do. You know, they're afraid of the government, of this guy. He is the head honcho. He is in charge. And he alone talks to the Titan, to this godly being upon whom they literally reside. Take whatever commentary on religion you want out of the Owl House. I'm sure there's plenty to be read into that, with Belos specifically. But it's that he's already in charge, he's already taken over. The characters are trying to overthrow him, but not even like actively. Throughout Season 1, that's not the goal. The goal is, oh, Luz wants to learn magic. And she does. And then it's, okay, they've taken Ida. At long last, this threat has finally come to pass. Let's rescue Ida. Cool, we did that. And then Season 2 is like, okay, well, where do we go now? And the Emperor's Coven and the Emperor become more and more of a threat. They start tightening their grip around our main characters more and more as Season 2 goes on. Ultimately, we get the reveal of Philip Witterbane being the Emperor, being Belos. Philip, this human witch hunter. Ah, Belos is a witch hunter. Oh, he's already in charge. But he's a witch hunter. And then we get it in Hollow Mind, the backstory of how he came to power, dazzling the people and faking these attacks from wild witches and everything, convincing them of these lies and forcing them under, not under, I guess kind of under duress to join a coven. And then the whole draining spell scenario that he is going to wipe out all witches on the face of the Boiling Isles. And that's his goal. He's a witch hunter. Kill all the witches. Shit. This is the guy in charge, and his goal is to kill everyone. And he absolutely has the power to do it. He's just waiting for the day, waiting for the day, waiting for the day, and telling everyone, oh, for this glorious day where we shall all be united. Everyone else will be united, all of you, in death. We get, then, you know, the Coven heads and everything, Darius and Rain introduced, more and more characters as season 2 goes on, and people in Belos' inner circle, with Snapdragon, only to learn, you know, no, none of them really knew him. The only person who sort of knew him was Luz. Because they helped him get here. They introduced him to the Collector. And I'm sure in Season 3 Luz is going to struggle with that a bit. That they are the reason, or that they will blame themselves for all of this. Everything bad that happened to them and their friends and family, they're going to blame on themselves as the one who not enabled Belos, but ended up helping him, unfortunately, find what he was after in the Collector, who now seems like they are going to be our big bad, our big threat. Not even an antagonist necessarily, the Collector. I'm very curious what their alignments are. Again, they seem to just be a young child that's a reality bender, and that is very concerning. So, we'll see where Season 3 goes. But Belos, when we get the reveal then in Hollow Mind, and all these paintings in the background, and the fans, of course, we immediately tore those apart. So, okay, cool. So, a brother or a friend, maybe, who Caleb was the name said at Hunter. Hunter is a Grimwalker, he's a clone of someone, there's been tons of previous ones, you're the one who looked most like him, all these wee lines, is okay. So the two of them were kids, and they grew up witch hunters, they came to this world. Caleb fell in love with a witch. Philip didn't like that. Philip kills him. And then goes about tracking down the Collector, coming up, finding this way to kill all the witches. And over time amasses power and everything, the Coven system. He is the guy in charge. It's too late. He's already won. He's almost just biding his time. He's waiting for the Day of Unity. He's just waiting, you know? Okay, sure, round up the wild witches and everything. Those get more people to join a coven, because, you know, anyone without a sigil will be immune to the spell or whatever. So get everyone branded. Literally branded. And kill them all. And he almost succeeds if it weren't for Luz, and then King and the Collector coming in. The Collector was so terrifying in that one episode. I cannot wait to see what's going to come from him. And there is that moment with Philip, with Belos, as this big monster that he is. He can barely hold his human form at this point. When he realizes, oh, he fucked up, the Collector's here now. Huh. And the Collector just flick of his finger, splatters him, seemingly kills him. There is the hint, there's the implication that he's going to be sticking around for Season 3 in some capacity. We'll see what Belos is going to do next, now that he's back in the human realm. But he failed. He didn't wipe out the root of all evil, these witches. So I have the feeling he's going to be wanting to go back to the Boiling Isles, which is going to be crazy, because his whole thing was kill all them and go home, become Witch Hunter General. Which isn't a thing anymore. Again, how Luz goes about tricking him with that, it's great. But no, I get the feeling he's going to want to go back to the Boiling Isles to finish that job. I'm not sure how the Collector is going to take to that, though, so we're just going to have to wait and see what happens in the Outhouse Season 3, which I think will be out by the time this video is out, at least the first episode, or their Halloween special. So hopefully that's fantastic. In fact, I'm fairly confident it will be. And that's why Emperor Bellos, for the moment, for the time being, is my favorite Disney villain. I could have just gone through the whole series. Oh, I forgot to talk about it. When we have now seen his face in private interactions with Hunter. And then when our characters are ready to, okay, we're going to try and sort of out him and reveal these things about him, he does so first. He puts on a bit of a performance of like, oh, I've always hidden my face from you, my subjects, and takes off his mask and reveals his face and everything. So, oh, he's scarred and everything. But he's not some hideous monster. He's not got a beak and antlers and everything. That's just the mask. He's kind of just a guy. And revealing that to the people, to his subjects, to the children of the Isles. That's a power move to sway more of them to his side, you know? He's such a great calculating villain that, for most intents and purposes, had already won. He was just waiting for the day to tick by. Then sure, okay, then there's the whole Titan's blood introduced. Okay, he wants that so he can get back home. But that's secondary. His plan the whole time was just to kill all the witches. And he was there. He was just waiting for the day that he could do it, waiting for an eclipse. It's great. It's like, and I'm sure there are some influences taken, Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Specifically Brotherhood, I haven't seen the original series. Father, yeah, I mean, sure. They were still, with the homunculi and whatnot, they still had to do a few more sacrifices, kill everyone at Drachma, they had to get together. The sacrifices to open the planet's doorway and everything. But he was close. Father spent most of the show just sat there waiting for it to happen. I don't think he once leaves the confines of Central Command in the entire series. Because he's down in his room, he's just waiting. He's got his children and everything off, doing specific tasks and everything to set up the dominoes. But for Bellos, the dominoes are already set. He's done. He's just waiting. He is that confident. He is that in control of everything. Oh, I'd love to talk about the Owl House more. If you'd be interested in that, let me know. I can totally do a video talking about it more, probably after Season 3 is underway. But in the meantime, yes. This is my second time coming to the conclusion. This is my top 10 favorite Disney villains at the moment. At the moment. These lists are subject to change, you know? Opinions change over time. Subsequent seasons come out. So we'll have to wait and see if Bellos holds that spot. I don't expect him to. But he's sort of here posthumously. Like, I expect him to be fantastic by the end of the show. He already is. I expect him to hold that. So he's definitely going to be on the list, but the order of this list is subject to shuffling and changing a lot of the time. Again, the reason I had 4 honorable mentions is because a lot of them could have made this list very easily. It was just a wee bit of shuffling and working out, okay, which are the 10 that I actually like the most? Yeah. So again, thanks for watching. Wee reminder to go check out Neil's video, his 10 favorite Disney villains, and Cher's video of her 10 favorite. And this is basically my Halloween special, so happy Halloween, thanks for watching, and until next time, bye.